Hey guys, it's Jessica and welcome back. I have another Kindred Stamps video design team tutorial for you. So for this one I'm going to be using the Plastic Friends stamp set. If you didn't see the last video I did using this stamp set, I'll link that below. I'm also going to be using the zebra stencil. First I'm going to show you how I do glitter paste stencil background. So I'm going to be using this texture paste, some Distress ink, Distress oxide ink, and then the secret ingredient Stencils. And we're going to do some mixing and just playing around and seeing what we come up with. I have a piece of Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock, and I'm just going to use some washi tape here that I'm kind of de-sticking a little bit, and that's going to hold down this piece of cardstock. To get started, I'm using tumbled glass. I'm going to sweat that right onto my media mat and then soak up all that ink with the sponge dauber. So any kind of matte, any kind of slick surface you could actually use. I want a pretty lighter center area. The other one I have is Stormy Sky, and this is a lot darker, and I'm just going to use that to darken up these outer edges. Glittering, it really is just a lot of back and forth work. I'm going to go back through with the tumbled glass and just slightly focus on that center part, working my way from the outer edges. So that'll hopefully kind of blend the Stormy Sky and the tumbled glass together and bring those mixed colors into the middle. Tap on some of these water droplets, and then I'm not going to blot up that water at all. And to secure the stencil down, I'm going to use some more washi tape. You could also use masking tape for that. It's like you're stretching the stencil over the top of that cardstock. I'm going to get a good, nice layer of Distress oxide. So this is going to act as my pigment to color that white texture paste. If you have the re-inkers, which I might have the re-inker for that one actually, it would be a little easier, but not everybody has re-inkers. So I just wanted to show that you could do this without the re-inkers. And I'm going to use a palette knife and grab some of this texture paste. You don't need a whole lot because you're just using a thin layer of it. This is probably too much actually, but that's okay. And then you're going to start mixing it into that ink that you had laid on top of your mat. And you can make this as dark or as light as you want by just adding more. And that's one reason why the re-inkers are a little easier, because it's hard to add more of that ink from the ink pad once you have actually started spreading it out like this. And now we're going to add some of that Stencils. I'm using Starry Night. I thought that was a really nice purple to the Kindred Stamps purple. Matches really well. This has like a blue purple glitter shift to it, so it should be really pretty. And this is going to make that paste a little thinner because you're adding all that glue liquid to it. So there is a lot of glitter in there. I probably added another 2 good squeezes from the original 2, so I added 4. And I am trying to work a little bit quickly because I don't want that texture paste to dry on that mat. We're just going to work this material back and forth on the stencil using your palette knife, being very careful once you get close to those outer edges, because I don't want any in this area. I want this to be nice and clean and white. Now we're going to lift this up, the stencil up, and see what we have. This is always the best thing. It's such a surprise. There we go. It's a fun little stripy pattern of purple. And then we're going to set that aside to dry. Now we're going to move on to the stamping portion, and I'm not going to show a whole lot of this, partly because this video is already pretty long, and I wanted to focus more on that glitter paste technique. This is going to be really quick. I'm going to use all 4 characters. I'm going to heat emboss using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink and clear embossing powder, and then I'll watercolor them and cut them out. Since I'm cutting them out, I'm also going to ink the edges with a Memento black marker. I went ahead and used a technique that I used in a different video where I had grouped some images together. They look like the one is standing behind the other. Super easy, just a really quick masking technique. I'll link to that video below also if you want to check that out, where I go into a little bit more detail about it. So I decided to make this a birthday card, and this stamp set does have quite a few really funny sentiments in it. So I'm going to be using the one that says "You're really pretty" and then the happy birthday one. So I'm going to cut actually the biatch part off of the happy birthday and use that one on the inside. I'm using just a darker gray cardstock and some white embossing powder. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Neenah Solar White 110-pound top fold card base. And I'm going to stamp the inside, and I'm just going to use the same Distress Oxide ink that I had used to tint that texture paste, the Dusty Concord. And Distress Oxide inks do stamp beautifully. And then I'm going to place the girl a little snarkier than the others, so I'm going to place her on the inside with these really funny snarky sentiments. I grabbed a rectangle die that has some stitching around it, and I'm going to run that through my Big Shot machine with the texture embossed background. Just make sure that any kind of texture paste or glitter or glue or anything is dry before you run it through your Big Shot. And then I'm also going to do the same to that bottom gray portion. Once that's done, I'm going to start gluing these characters to the front. I also thought it just needed a bit more pink to kind of tie in their outfits. So I grabbed this really small Nuvo drop and added some Bubblegum blush drops to this piece. And also took a Signo gel pen and added some dots after the happy birthday. That way they know this sentiment is continued on. Here's a bit of footage of it up close where I'm trying to show you the glitter and the texture paste on the background. And that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Meh, meh.